A shocking incident between North Korean and Russian soldiers during joint military operations has sent ripples through the international community. This unexpected incident, which left several Russian soldiers injured, has raised urgent questions about the reliability and coordination of military alliances between the two nations. Is this a rare mishap, or does it signal deeper issues in their cooperation? Military analysts view this event as a glaring example of the challenges of integrating forces from vastly different cultural and linguistic backgrounds. Could such misunderstandings jeopardize future operations, or are they inevitable in cross-national military partnerships? The incident has sparked debates about these alliances' effectiveness and prompted urgent protocol reviews to prevent such occurrences in the future. What do you think about this? Let's discuss it in this video. What do you think about this? Please join us in discussing this video. In a dramatic and controversial turn of events, a tragic miscommunication between North Korean and Russian military forces in Russia's Kursk region has resulted in a devastating loss of life. The incident unfolded when North Korean troops, deployed to support Russian operations, mistakenly launched an attack on Allied vehicles belonging to the Chechen Akhmat battalion. This fatal error claimed the lives of 8 Akhmat soldiers and exposed deep vulnerabilities in the coordination and execution of joint military operations between the two nations. The attack occurred amidst heightened tensions and ongoing defensive efforts against Ukrainian advances in the region. According to reports, the misdirected action prompted immediate changes in battlefield strategy, including the establishment of additional observation posts by North Korean forces to prevent further missteps. However, the damage was already done, as the incident raised urgent questions about the effectiveness of cross-national military deployments and the challenges posed by differences in communication, strategy, and operational priorities. The aftermath of this tragic event has been staggering. Casualty assessments indicate a heavy toll on both sides, with combined losses reaching approximately 200 servicemen as of December 14, 2024. Ukrainian forces, too, have reported inflicting significant damage on North Korean units, with multiple battalions suffering heavy casualties. These developments paint a grim picture of the operational difficulties and the human cost of this alliance, casting doubt on the sustainability of such joint efforts in high-stakes combat zones. Following the incident, Russian forces implemented stricter protocols in areas with North Korean personnel. The military command focused on addressing the language barrier issues that had led to the incident. Ukrainian intelligence reported that Russian forces began conducting more thorough inspections and implementing new security measures, including the confiscation of electronic devices from troops to maintain operational security. The Pentagon confirmed North Korean troops' active combat role, noting that they had primarily been deployed in infantry positions. The Institute for the Study of War assessed that poor integration and ongoing communication problems between Russian and North Korean forces would likely continue to impact military operations in the Kursk region. The South Korean National Intelligence Service reported that North Korean troops' inexperience with the terrain and limited ability to respond to drone attacks had contributed to their vulnerability in combat operations. These operational challenges have prompted a review of joint deployment protocols and communication systems between the Allied forces. The integration of North Korean troops into Russian military operations has exposed significant communication challenges that threaten operational effectiveness. Ukraine's military intelligence reports that language barriers continue to be a difficult obstacle for the management and coordination of actions between the Allied forces. Communication difficulties between Russian and North Korean forces have created serious operational hurdles, particularly in combat situations requiring rapid response. The Russian military has instituted special protocols in areas where North Korean personnel are located, including mandatory inspections and the confiscation of electronic devices. Despite these measures, battlefield coordination remains problematic, with analysts noting that effective communication is essential for joint operations. The Russian military has launched a large-scale recruitment of interpreters to address the communication gap. Current plans include assigning 1 interpreter for every 30 North Korean soldiers, placing 3 Russian soldiers with each group of 30 North Korean fighters, and providing specialized training for interpreters in military equipment operation. However, doubts persist within the Russian army about the practicality of implementing this interpreter allocation system. The situation is further complicated by North Korean soldiers' difficulty in learning Russian military terminology. Military analysts have identified several critical protocol breakdowns in joint operations. The Russian military's attempt to teach North Korean soldiers approximately 100 key military terms has shown limited success. Combat operations require constant and specific communications to be effective, not just basic directional commands. The Institute for the Study of War assessment indicates that poor integration and ongoing communication problems will likely continue to disrupt Russian military operations in the Kursk region. These challenges are particularly evident in situations requiring quick tactical decisions or coordinated responses to enemy actions. Military experts emphasize that successful combat operations demand precise, real-time communication rather than simplified instructions. The current communication framework has proven inadequate for modern warfare scenarios, especially in situations involving drone attacks and rapid tactical adjustments. Recent military intelligence reports reveal an unprecedented scale of North Korean military deployment in Russia, marking a significant shift in international military cooperation. The Pentagon has confirmed the presence of North Korean troops in Russia's territory, with numbers reaching approximately 12,000 personnel. The deployment of North Korean forces in Russia's Kursk Oblast has unfolded in carefully planned phases, reflecting a significant escalation in their military involvement. The initial wave, comprising approximately 3,000 troops, began arriving in early to mid-October. This marked the beginning of a steady build-up, with reinforcements pushing the number to 10,000 personnel within weeks. Reports indicate that the deployment will continue to expand, with projections suggesting that troop levels could reach 12,000 by the end of 2024. These forces are predominantly drawn from North Korea's X-I Corps, famously known as the Storm Corps. As an elite special forces unit, the Storm Corps is specifically trained in advanced infiltration tactics and critical infrastructure operations, making it a formidable addition to the ongoing conflict. Their presence underscores the strategic value that North Korea places on this alliance, as well as the operational importance of their role in supporting Russian objectives in the region. Despite the scale of this deployment, South Korea's Ministry of Defense has highlighted that North Korea retains the vast majority of its special forces personnel, estimated at approximately 200,000 troops. This suggests that, while the deployment to Russia is significant, it represents only a fraction of North Korea's overall military capacity. The commitment of such specialized units to foreign operations raises questions about North Korea's broader strategic goals and the potential implications for regional security dynamics. The majority of North Korean troops have been strategically positioned in Russia's Kursk region, which has been partially under Ukrainian control since Kyiv's territorial advances. Russian forces have provided these troops with Russian uniforms and equipment, integrating them into existing military structures. The deployment represents part of a larger force of 50,000 soldiers assembled in Kursk. The deployment of North Korean troops to Russia serves as a pivotal strategic move, offering a range of benefits to both nations. For Russia, the infusion of North Korean forces addresses critical manpower shortages, bolstering its ability to sustain prolonged military operations. The deployment ensures that North Korean troops are tasked with maintaining defensive positions, thereby allowing seasoned Russian Marines and paratroopers to redirect their focus toward high-priority offensive missions. This division of responsibilities enhances Russia's operational flexibility and strengthens its capacity to execute complex strategic maneuvers. For North Korea, the arrangement is equally advantageous, presenting opportunities that extend beyond immediate military objectives. One of the most significant benefits is the chance to gain direct combat experience in modern warfare scenarios. Exposure to contemporary battlefield conditions allows North Korean troops to refine their tactics and adapt to evolving military challenges, contributing to the overall enhancement of their combat readiness. Financially, the deployment is projected to yield substantial economic rewards, with potential earnings estimated up to $572 million annually. These funds are vital for a nation facing ongoing economic pressures, enabling North Korea to reinvest in its military and domestic priorities. Additionally, the alliance provides access to advanced military technologies and invaluable battlefield insights that North Korea might otherwise struggle to obtain. Another critical aspect of this deployment is the opportunity it affords North Korea to test and evaluate its newer missile systems against Western defense technologies. Such field trials offer a unique chance to gather performance data, refine weapon systems, and identify vulnerabilities in adversarial defenses, all of which enhance North Korea's strategic capabilities. The deployment is formalized under a comprehensive strategic partnership treaty ratified by both nations, which includes provisions for immediate military assistance between the parties. This agreement represents a significant elevation in the military relationship between Moscow and Pyongyang, with Article 4 specifically outlining mutual defense commitments. Military analysts note that while these troops will contribute to Russia's war effort, their impact may be limited by integration challenges and operational constraints. The deployment also carries risks for North Korea, including potential battlefield desertions and casualties that could affect troop morale. The deployment of North Korean forces alongside Russian troops has exposed significant challenges in integrating their military operations, largely due to stark differences in operational methods and organizational structures. Although North Korean soldiers receive training at Russian facilities in the Far East, these efforts have not been enough to overcome the obstacles to achieving seamless combat coordination. Analysts argue that these issues could undermine the effectiveness of joint operations in high-stakes combat zones. North Korean troops, particularly those from the elite Storm Corps of the 11th Army Corps, are highly skilled in specialized tactics such as infiltration and assassination. These capabilities often surpass the preparation of typical Russian conscripts. However, their combat readiness is hindered by a lack of exposure to modern warfare practices. Analysts have identified key gaps in their training, including minimal familiarity with the advanced combat strategies employed in Ukraine, limited experience with drone warfare, and inadequate understanding of contemporary battlefield technology. These deficiencies could prove critical in adapting to the dynamic conditions of modern military engagements. Adding to the complexity are the deeply entrenched differences in command structures. North Korea's military organization prioritizes political oversight over operational efficiency, creating a bureaucratic system that can stifle battlefield responsiveness. Political commissars wield significant influence, requiring their approval for major military decisions, while military police representatives maintain constant surveillance over personnel. Even basic operational orders are constrained by a rigid hierarchy where promotions and critical decisions require multiple signatures, sometimes as many as 5. This multi-layered approval process severely limits the flexibility of commanders, leaving them with little autonomy to act decisively during combat. These structural inefficiencies are compounded by the fact that any meaningful reforms to North Korea's command system would require direct approval from Kim Jong-un. Without such changes, military analysts argue, the challenges in integrating North Korean and Russian forces will persist, potentially undermining the strategic objectives of their collaboration and highlighting the broader difficulties of aligning two vastly different military systems in a unified effort. Beyond operational disparities, cultural barriers create substantial challenges for joint military effectiveness. The Russian military's attempt to teach North Korean soldiers approximately 100 key military terms has shown limited success, with South Korean intelligence reporting significant learning difficulties. Combat operations demand precise, real-time communication rather than basic directional commands. The current interpreter allocation of 1 per 30 North Korean troops proves insufficient for complex military operations. These cultural and linguistic gaps particularly affect some factors like tactical coordination during active combat, response times in emergencies, integration of North Korean units into lower echelons of Russian forces, and execution of combined arms operations. Military experts emphasize that these integration challenges could significantly impact operational effectiveness, particularly as North Korean forces face unfamiliar combat conditions on Ukrainian territory. The situation is further complicated by the troops' inexperience with the flat battlefield terrain, contrasting sharply with their mountainous training environment. Battlefield communication between Russian and North Korean forces continues to face significant operational challenges, as highlighted by recent military intelligence assessments. To mitigate these issues, the Russian military has adopted structured measures aimed at improving coordination, though the effectiveness of these efforts remains limited. A central component of the communication strategy is the deployment of Korean language translators to facilitate interactions between the Allied forces. Current protocols assign 1 translator for every 30 North Korean troops, reflecting an attempt to ensure basic functionality in combat scenarios. North Korean soldiers also undergo training in fundamental Russian military vocabulary, learning approximately 100 essential terms. Dedicated interpreters are embedded with combat units, and simplified command structures are employed during urgent situations to reduce confusion. Standard operating procedures are issued in both Russian and Korean to enhance clarity. Despite these measures, language barriers persist as a major obstacle, with North Korean troops often struggling to grasp Russian military terminology. These difficulties result in delays in response times during critical battlefield operations. In addition to linguistic support, technological solutions have been introduced to address the communication gap. Russian forces supply North Korean troops with tactical radios, standardized signaling systems, and basic battlefield communication devices. Emergency response equipment is also provided to ensure that essential information can be conveyed in high-pressure situations. However, the demands of modern combat require precise, real-time communication, and these tools have shown mixed effectiveness in meeting operational needs. While basic instructions can be managed, the complexity of combat coordination often exceeds the capabilities of current systems, leaving gaps that could compromise mission success. The integration of linguistic and technological approaches underscores the ongoing effort to overcome communication barriers, yet the challenges of aligning two distinct military systems remain evident. These difficulties highlight the broader complexities of multinational military operations and the critical importance of effective communication in ensuring battlefield cohesion. The Russian command has developed specific protocols for emergencies, recognizing that combat operations demand constant and specific communications. These procedures become particularly critical as North Korean troops face unfamiliar combat conditions and potential battlefield desertion risks. Military analysts emphasize that current emergency protocols face significant limitations. The language barrier continues to hamper interaction between North Korean and Russian personnel, making existing communication challenges even more acute. This situation particularly affects rapid response capabilities during critical combat situations. The effectiveness of these systems remains under scrutiny as demonstrated by recent friendly fire incidents. Military experts note that while translators and basic vocabulary may assist in routine operations, they prove insufficient for complex combat scenarios that require immediate action. The Russian military continues to adjust its communication protocols, particularly as North Korean troops demonstrate limited exposure to modern warfare capabilities and tactics. The integration of North Korean forces into Russian military operations has produced mixed results, with significant impacts on battlefield effectiveness and strategic planning. Russian forces face mounting challenges in maintaining operational tempo while incorporating foreign troops into their command structure. The Kremlin's strategy of utilizing North Korean troops has enabled Russia to sustain its offensive campaigns while avoiding the need for a broader societal mobilization. This approach, while providing immediate manpower, has introduced significant challenges that impact operational effectiveness and cohesion on the battlefield. Combat casualties among North Korean units have been substantial, with several hundred losses reported in the Kursk region alone. Combined casualties for Russian and North Korean forces are estimated to have reached approximately 200 service members. Analysts attribute the high losses among North Korean troops to their limited experience with modern warfare, particularly in drone-centric combat environments. Despite these setbacks, the presence of North Korean forces has offered Russia an alternative means of generating manpower, potentially adding up to 12,000 troops. This allows the Russian military to meet its recruitment goals, which target 25,000 to 30,000 new soldiers monthly, without imposing further mobilization on its domestic population. However, the integration of North Korean forces has been fraught with difficulties, leading to significant friction in joint operations. Russian commanders report that North Korean troops, due to their unfamiliarity with advanced warfare tactics, often become liabilities rather than assets in the field. Poor adaptation to drone warfare and ongoing communication issues exacerbate these problems, undermining the effectiveness of collaborative efforts. Challenges in combat coordination are particularly pronounced in areas such as battlefield awareness, response times, and the alignment of North Korean units with Russian command structures. Efforts to execute joint defensive operations have faced setbacks due to the difficulty in adapting North Korean forces to modern combat requirements. The Institute for the Study of War has highlighted these issues as ongoing impediments to operational success, underscoring the complexities of integrating troops from vastly different military systems into a unified strategy. Russian military command has implemented significant strategic modifications to accommodate North Korean forces. The deployment allows Russia to build out its fighting force while maintaining focus on high-priority offensive efforts. Recent operational changes include: the Russian military has divided North Korean forces into two distinct groups. The first group is assault units for direct combat operations, and the remaining group is support units for security in recaptured territories. This arrangement enables Russian forces to reallocate personnel back to Ukraine, supporting ongoing offensive operations while sustaining defensive efforts in multiple regions. The Russian command's approach to utilizing North Korean combat power significantly influences their ability to absorb and disseminate battlefield lessons. Military analysts note that if Russian command continues to employ infantry-led frontal assault tactics, commonly referred to as meat assaults, the resulting high casualty rates could severely undermine both forces' ability to learn and integrate battlefield lessons. Despite these challenges, Russian forces have maintained an average territorial gain of approximately 27 square kilometers per day, though this progress comes at a significant human cost. The deployment of North Korean troops represents a strategic trade-off for Russian military operations. While providing needed manpower, it introduces operational complexities that require continuous adjustment of tactical approaches and command structures. The Russian military continues to adapt its operational protocols to maximize the effectiveness of this unconventional force integration, though significant challenges persist in achieving optimal combat efficiency. The deployment of North Korean soldiers alongside Russian forces has triggered widespread international condemnation and raised serious concerns about global security implications. NATO and its allies have issued strong statements denouncing this military cooperation, while diplomatic channels have been activated to address the escalating situation. NATO has issued a strong condemnation of the growing military collaboration between Russia and North Korea, describing it as a perilous escalation of Russia's war against Ukraine. The alliance has raised serious concerns about the broader implications of this partnership, citing violations of multiple UN Security Council resolutions, heightened threats to Euro-Atlantic security, destabilizing effects on the Indo-Pacific region, and a significant setback to global non-proliferation efforts. NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte characterized the deployment of North Korean forces as a significant escalation in the ongoing conflict, highlighting the scale of Russian casualties, which have reportedly surpassed 600,000 soldiers killed or wounded. This partnership, NATO argues, underscores President Putin's mounting desperation to sustain his faltering military campaign. The alliance's denunciation reflects growing international alarm over the broader consequences of this alliance, which threatens to reshape the geopolitical landscape in both Europe and the Indo-Pacific. South Korea's National Intelligence Service has conducted a thorough evaluation of North Korean casualties in the ongoing conflict, providing significant insights into the scale of their involvement. The analysis indicates that at least 100 North Korean soldiers have been killed, with around 1,000 wounded. Additionally, approximately 12,000 North Korean troops are currently deployed in the region, contributing to Russia's military operations. South Korean defense officials have raised concerns about the long-term implications of this deployment. They worry that North Korean forces are not only gaining invaluable combat experience, but may also be exposed to advanced Russian military technology. Despite their limited experience with modern warfare tactics, North Korean troops are being used as a frontline assault force, which increases their risk of casualties but also offers them the opportunity to enhance their military capabilities through hands-on experience and access to cutting-edge weaponry. The United Nations Security Council has conducted extensive deliberations on the military cooperation between Russia and North Korea. UN Assistant Secretary General Miroslav Jenka reported that approximately 12,000 North Korean servicemen are currently training at 5 Russian facilities. The deployment includes 500 officers from the North Korean Army, 3 generals from the Korean People's Army General Staff, 5 formations of 3,000 servicemen each. The United States Ambassador to the UN, Linda Thomas-Greenfield, warned that Russia may be close to accepting North Korea's nuclear weapons program, reversing decades of commitment to denuclearizing the Korean peninsula. This development has prompted urgent discussions about potential responses from the international community. The UN Security Council has highlighted that this military cooperation violates multiple resolutions, including 2270, 2016, 1718, 2006, and 1874, 2009. Japan's representative emphasized that despite repeated condemnations of Moscow's procurement and use of North Korean ballistic missiles against Ukraine, military cooperation between both countries has only accelerated. The European Union, through its delegation head Stavros Lambrinidis, has warned that participation of North Korean troops in Moscow's war constitutes a serious breach of international law. The bloc has indicated its readiness to explore necessary actions in coordination with international partners to address this escalating situation. The military alliance between Russia and North Korea marks a significant shift in global defense partnerships, with far-reaching implications for international security protocols. The Comprehensive Strategic Partnership Treaty, which took effect in December 2024, establishes unprecedented levels of military cooperation between the two nations. Recent incidents have prompted a sweeping overhaul of existing military protocols. The Russian military command has implemented a series of new safety measures to improve efficiency and reduce risks during joint military operations. These include enhanced identification protocols for allied forces, ensuring a clear distinction between participating forces. In addition, inter-unit communication checks have become mandatory to improve communication and reduce the risk of misunderstandings. Stricter rules have also been imposed on participation in joint military operations, requiring forces to adhere to stricter procedures and processes. Finally, an advanced battlefield coordination system has been deployed to improve joint operations and increase the effectiveness of military operations. The treaty's Article 4 specifically mandates immediate military assistance between the parties, fundamentally altering traditional alliance structures. Russian forces have modified their command protocols to accommodate North Korean units, though challenges persist in maintaining operational cohesion. The Russian military has initiated comprehensive training modifications to address operational gaps. These changes reflect lessons learned from recent combat experiences, where North Korean forces demonstrated limited familiarity with modern warfare tactics. The Russian military provides North Korean forces with specialized training in modern battlefield technology integration, drone warfare operations, electronic warfare systems, and advanced communication protocols. The deployment provides North Korea with unprecedented opportunities to test its weapons systems against Western-provisioned adversaries. Russian military instructors have established specialized training facilities, with approximately 3,000 North Korean troops currently training across 3 military sites in Russia's eastern region. The stability of the partnership between Russia and North Korea faces numerous challenges, with consequences that reach far beyond the immediate battlefield. North Korea has pledged up to 12,000 personnel to support Russian military operations, in exchange for an estimated $5.50 billion through arms deals with Russia. This alliance has significant strategic, military, and economic implications that influence global military relationships. The partnership alters regional power dynamics, reducing China's influence over North Korea and increasing instability on the Korean peninsula. Additionally, the balance of power in the Asia-Pacific region has shifted, with potential long-term effects on neighboring nations. On the military front, the alliance has facilitated a technology exchange, enhancing North Korea's missile capabilities, improving the integration of battlefield systems, and fostering cooperation in the development of advanced weapons. Economically, the deal offers substantial financial benefits for North Korea, though it presents resource allocation challenges for Russia, particularly as it supports North Korea's military needs. Moreover, the alliance may enable both countries to circumvent international sanctions, complicating the geopolitical landscape further. The treaty's provisions, including Article 8, which aims to strengthen defense capabilities to prevent war, and Article 10, which promotes exchanges in scientific fields such as space and nuclear energy development, have sparked concerns among Western allies. Military analysts observe that North Korea's deployment strategy serves multiple objectives, including reducing dependence on China while securing Russian defense commitments. The arrangement allows Russia to maintain its fighting force without conducting socially costly domestic mobilization. The partnership's durability remains uncertain, with some experts suggesting Russia might reduce its commitment following the conclusion of current conflicts. However, the comprehensive nature of the agreement, including provisions for military and other assistance, indicates a potentially long-term strategic alignment. Recent developments show North Korea has shipped over 16,500 containers of munitions to Russia, while receiving significant technological and financial benefits. This exchange has raised concerns about potential violations of international sanctions and the stability of existing security frameworks in both Eastern Europe and the Asia-Pacific region. Recent events between North Korean and Russian forces mark a critical turning point in modern military alliances. Military analysts view the friendly fire incident as a stark reminder of fundamental challenges facing cross-national military cooperation. Language barriers, cultural differences, and operational disparities continue to hamper the effective integration of North Korean troops into Russian military structures. Russian military command faces significant hurdles in balancing the benefits of additional manpower against operational risks. North Korean deployment provides crucial support for Russian operations while offering Pyongyang valuable combat experience and financial gains. However, casualties from friendly fire incidents and communication breakdowns raise serious questions about long-term sustainability. What do you think about these? Can the North Korean soldiers fight with all their abilities when they have difficulties in communication terrain? Share your views in the comment section. Thank you for watching the video. See you in the next videos.